Hi, my name is Rev Brenda R Meritt-Motta. I'm a Washington State peer support specialist and a holistic health advocate, and I'm currently a student at Integrative Nutrition, and I have 32 years experience on and off as a volunteer as a natural health coach. And I've been homeless on and off over those years a lot. And I have been in the mental health system for 32 years, most of the time. I've been involuntarily committed 6 times, twice at Western States for a period of 3 months, 3 times at Navos, twice at Navos, once for 3 months, and twice when it was West Seattle Psychiatric Hospital. And I've been in Harborview. I've been in and out of the hospitals over the years. The last time I had a psychotic break was about 7.5 years ago. I got out of Western States, and I was finally up to be involved in the study at the chronic fatigue clinic at University of Washington. During that study, I was given very high doses of vitamin B12, and I have never had a psychotic break since. Since then, I have found out that low B12 in your system, whether even if you test normal for it, it can still cause psychosis, and it's one of the first things to check for. That never happened for me ever in the mental health system in this country. Specifically Washington State and Delaware and Pennsylvania are the 3 states I've been in. I've been literally on every medication I can think of and had some kind of reason why I had to stop because I'm so chemically sensitive. I actually was on Latuda last, and that was something that I was able to tolerate. And I was taken off of the Latuda. I was taken off of antipsychotics. I was taken off of Depakote. And I was told that I have no signs of mental illness by a psychiatrist. He's seen me twice, and I have asked him to evaluate me again. I have noticed the most significant changes since I started taking that B12, especially. About 7 years ago. But most recently, in the last 2.5, almost 3 years, I started to see an acupuncturist named Dr. Sung Soo Han, and he's in Linwood. And he had treated me for chronic pain, for the different 15 diagnoses I've been given. I was on 13 medications. Very heavily medicated, so lethargic, so sick, full of anxiety. My diagnoses for psychiatric was complex post-traumatic stress disorder with dissociative identity, not dissociative identity, disassociating, losing track of time up to 2 hours sometimes, absence type symptoms, depersonalization, derealization, definite signs of what they say is complex PTSD, mostly from a history of chronic abuse and 19 surgeries. And like the abuse started when I was 2, lost my sister, and both my parents molested me and raised me in a Jehovah's Witness religion where I was perpetually abused in all ways. Not able to eat food if I didn't memorize the books of the Bible before I could even read at 3 years old. I started drinking alcoholically at 3 years old when the sexual abuse started. I married someone that believed he was Jesus Christ, and I was Mary Magdalene, and he proceeded to treat me as a whore and had me have sex with other people. And I've been raped at gun knife point underneath the viaduct in downtown Seattle in broad daylight, people walking by me screaming for help, nobody paying attention, looking at me and walking on by. And I'm symptom free. I can talk about all of these things. I can talk about being in the psych ward. I can talk about remembering the staff being beat up. They were running down the hall bloody, and they were the only people there to protect me, and how traumatizing that was, and how traumatizing hearing silverware was in anywhere around me for 2 years after having that gun and knife in my ear. And I can talk about all of these things, and they're just memories. They're not attached to any emotions. And I can tell you that what changed that for me was Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. I started working on YouTube videos in November of 2022. And the other significant thing that happened right before that, besides the acupuncture work, was becoming a member of Agape International Spiritual Center and learning spiritual tools, like realizing that my life happens for me and not to me, and spirit works through me, not against me. And those realizations really catapulted me into saying a sacred yes to me having a spiritual path of wholeness and compassion and service in gratitude, which led me to do Dr. Joe's work, Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I started doing his work on YouTube. And I started asking the groups on Facebook if I could be on their Facebook groups. And I, through that, met Belinda Bloom. And Belinda Bloom is a transformational strategist. And she's a master neuro-linguistic programmer, an advanced student of Dr. Joe Dispenza's, very high up in the chain of Tony Robbins students. And she was helping me for free. She helped me work through 2.5 rounds of Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself work of Dr. Joe's. And at first, I borrowed a meditation from her because I was so afraid to spend $30 of the $1,100 that I made a month and $80 in food assistance. And I was so full of lack and separation and doubt and fear that even though I had enough to buy it, I still was afraid. And so she told me she would loan it to me if I gave back to the group when I was able. And, it didn't even take me 3 weeks of working with her and meeting with her for free every Sunday before I realized that I was worthy of the work and I was worthy of healing. And I left all 12-step fellowships because I realized that they were a power over society, turning your power over to something. And I learned in doing Dr. Joe Dispenza's work that my power is truly within, and it matches divine guidance and divine intelligence. It is not something I have to surrender to in the essence of something being outside myself. And that was a huge transition for me after being in 12-step fellowship since 1989. And what I learned is that that's a Newtonian model of reality, of something outside myself causing something outside me and inside me to change me. I change me. I make the decision of how I feel. I make the decision of what I think. I do daily work in the morning and evening meditations, volume 2. Thank you so much, Dr. Joe. I get to remember what I don't want to think. I get to remember what I don't want to feel. I get to remember how I don't want to behave. And then I get to have a birth of new thoughts because it's a new day, and I get to think new thoughts, new feelings, new behaviors. I get to rehearse something in particular for my upcoming day. And then I get to have a beautiful day, just like Dr. Joe says. And also, I do all kinds of other of his meditations. And fortunately, I've been blessed with some advanced students that are not supposed to give me his advanced meditations, but have, because they believe in me. And those perpetuated me into a healing to where I'm symptom-free from all 15 diseases I was previously diagnosed with, including the mental quote-unquote illness that's quote-unquote incurable. And on top of all of that work with metacognition and epigenetics, thank you to Bruce Lipton, and all the information I learned from Greg Braden, I actually did have a new personality in a new personal reality, just like Dr. Joe says in Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And the doors of Safeway swung open. And I was a person that just tolerated a couple vegetables, preferred fruit, but really didn't like vegetables, but knew I had to stomach them somehow. And those doors swung open that day. And I was like, ooh, I wonder what kind of veggies they have today. I proceeded to buy $100 worth of veggies. And within a week, I was completely animal food free. And I have not looked back. I am now in a new food category called Plantricious. Thank you, Dr. Michael Greger and team, and nutritionfacts.org and their free daily dozen app. I was able to get and stay off of all animal food, have more than sufficient amount of nutrition. I'm losing 2.5 pounds a week. And just to remind you, since I didn't say in this recording, in January, when I met Belinda and started breaking the habit of being myself, I was hooked on candy so much and chips. I was eating 3 pounds of candy every 2 days, huge family-sized bag of chips every 2 days, faking like I was on a Mediterranean diet through Dr. Tucker Winship at Bastyr Natural College in his student clinic. And all the while eating so much delivery food that was all I spent my money on, was candy and chips and delivery food. And it's just miserable, laying on the couch, eating and sleeping all day on those damn psych meds. And miserable, totally miserable. I had no life. And I started changing, that was even doing the acupuncture. And, 3 years back, July 31st will be 3 years that my son died. And he was medicating himself with meth because he was over medicated with psych meds. And he got kicked out of 5 schools. And he couldn't stay awake. So they kept kicking him out of school, and he kept blaming himself for not being able to stay awake. And he wouldn't let us talk to his psychiatrist because he said he was a man. He should be able to advocate for himself. And he proceeded to use meth, and he proceeded to drive head on into a semi truck at 80 miles an hour with his girlfriend driving, and died in the ambulance. And so July 31st will be 3 years from that. And the following year and a half, 29 other loved ones passed. And I've been able to walk through all of that with wisdom from the past, and released from the emotions for the most part. It's very intense this month in particular because I am really allowing myself to really truly believe my psychiatrist saying that I show no signs of mental illness, and him telling me to keep doing what I'm doing because I'm doing great is what he told me. And, I asked him to please evaluate me a 3rd time because now Dr. Joe wants to research me. And I haven't even heard back from him. And the last time I did see him, he said, well, I don't see any reason why you need to return. And I said, well, is it okay if I keep you as my psychiatrist just in case? And he said, well, what do you think is in case? And I said, well, I don't know. Maybe my daughter will be concerned about me again or something. He said, well, she's projecting her past emotions onto your present situation. Nothing that she's concerned about is in reality in your current situation. And so there's that. And I'm not able to see my granddaughter and my grandson, and my other son thinks I'm manic. And, my psychiatrist made it clear, you're just excited. I mean, all my dreams are coming true. Instead of being homeless or in a psych ward, today is my 2nd day in school, in my dream school, into Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And thanks to being given this opportunity to live in this condo on Everett Housing Authority and Journey Housing and Pay Services grants and vouchers and Section 8 housing, I'm able to live in a beautiful 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo right off of a lake where I get to sit every morning and drink my coffee. And, a couple weeks ago, within 20 minutes, all of my dreams came true. I found a way to make my healing oils again. And I was told I have my dream job. All I have to do is figure out the contract and she'll sign it. And she already hired me. and it's a paid internship through DVR, Department of Vocational Rehabilitation, who also paid for my school. And all of that happened in like 20 minutes. So yes, I've been excited. Yes, some people say that I'm like, must be manic, because how could anybody be that excited? Well, living on the streets most of my adulthood, or in psych wards, or not being allowed to see my kids or my grandkids, and having all these dreams come true, and waiting to hear back from Joomla Shack University so I can figure out if they're gonna allow me to do my social media network on Joomla and Community Builder, and have it be a holistic health network that I've been trying to build with them since 2015. And like, all of these things are coming true. And you know why? I believed in myself. I never gave up on myself. I always believed in myself. I've always believed in myself ever since I was a little girl, playing with grasshoppers outside the Yakima Children's Hospital where my sister was dying. I didn't know at the time. I never did meet her because my mom wouldn't let me. But, when she didn't come home and I wasn't allowed to see her, I thought I did something wrong. But even back then, I knew deep down that I was a good person, and that I deserved the best, and that I was worthy, and I was lovable and loving and deserving. And I grew up believing that all this time, no matter what. And, Dr. Joe says in all his lectures about the spontaneous healings that people fell in love with themselves. They fell in love with their past. They fell in love with their eternal now moment. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. I wish that would be me someday. And I finished reconditioning the body to a new mind, which is an amazing meditation that helped me get off of anxiety meds and sleep meds. And I sat up and I was like, oh my God, I love my past. I love my present. I'm excited for my future. I don't know what it's going to hold, but it's okay because I know it's going to be amazing. And the next day I woke up and I had not a flashback for the first time ever. I had an actual memory, a full-on, fully integrated memory of laying in the downtown Seattle underneath the viaduct, and that guy on top of me, and all those people walking by me, and that plagued me forever, trying to figure out how anybody could do that to a 15-year-old. And I loved them all. I can't tell you what that meant. I can't. I there's no words for how freeing that was. In every freaking DNA strand in my body. And the love burst out from me. Like Dr. Joe says, they've only been able to measure our energy 9 feet from our body. There was love for eons flowing through me and from me and out to the universe. And I realized those people were just wounded. They needed love too. And so I was able to go back in that memory and love them too. And it's not about forgiving. It's like, it's loving. And like Reverend Beckwith taught me, in life visioning, I learned the evolution of spiritual development is people believing that life happens to them and they're a victim. And then people start to realize that life happens because of them. They start to realize that they have some kind of control over what happens in their life, so they start manipulating. And then people start realizing that they can create with spirit. And then you learn how to let spirit flow through you and move from you, because of you, in you, around you. So I'd like to invite you all to my son's 3rd annual celebration, because this year I'm celebrating myself as his mother, free from shame, free from guilt, free from remorse, free from regret, and all those toxic things I used to think and feel and behave about because I was an absent parent because of drug addiction. I no longer associate with any of that in my life on any level. And again, there's no words to tell you how freeing that is. There's just no words. Except that I have a lot of words. And I've been told that his celebration needs to be televised and that my message needs to be heard on more than just Dr. Joe's research and Bastyr College's research with their student clinic. I need to really allow this to be heard. I have a YouTube video from Everett Housing Authority from 6 months ago, and I listened to it, and it's like a whole different person. I don't even go to 12-step fellowships anymore, and I was the World Service Outreach Coordinator for Nicotine Anonymous. There's that. I was, I just look at myself, and I was so nervous, and I was so unworthy feeling, and I didn't measure up, and I hope this turns out okay, and frankly I could give a crap about what you guys think of me right now, because I feel so authentic and so full of integrity and wholeness that this is the real me, and I behave as the real me the best I can. And when I do fall from grace, I have resiliency because I have control over my epigenetics, and I know that the way I think, feel, behave, my mood, my attitude, all my behaviors, they all express in my DNA. They do. That's a fact. Our DNA expression is rewired, considering the attitude, the mood, the thoughts, the behaviors, the feelings. So I choose to live in bliss. I am mystical, I am powerful, I am worthy. I match my will with God's will in me, all around me, always, in all ways. And when I don't, I forgive myself and I remember not to do it again the best I can. I check in with myself in the morning. As soon as I use the restroom, I do my morning and evening volume 2 from Dr. Joe Dispenza. The last thing I do before I go to bed is my evening portion of that. So I get to celebrate my day. I get to remember what I thought and what I felt and how I behaved that I liked, so I can remember to do it again. I get to remember when I did things that I forgot to not do, so I can remember to not do them again. I get to reframe some things that may have happened that I want to do different next time. And I get to end my day with Dr. Joe telling me to slowly lay down and rest and go to sleep. And I sleep like a baby. And, I used to be on 3 different sleep meds and would wake up screaming with night terrors. So thank you, Dr. Joe. And thank you, Dr. Michael Greger, for teaching me about whole food, plant-based, no oil, plantricious culture. I'm here to tell about it. I've gone from being a worldwide service outreach coordinator for Nicotine Anonymous to now I'm a global plant pure pod leader on mostly Facebook right now, because I got tired of paying for bills that I just don't want to spend money on because I'm too busy eating healthy. We're on Facebook. It's called Whole Food Plant-Based No Oil Education and Support Plant Pure Pod. And I am in the process of gathering some donations from different companies that have helped me maintain better living through affordable organic foods like Grocery Outlet and Safeway, Albertsons, Kroger. And I went around and talked to people today to get contacts of who to talk to more about that. And I have this amazing idea that I'm calling a pod leading meeting to get help with organizing it, and they're cook-offs. And the cook-offs are, you pay $25 per person to enter your recipe. I think the first one will be pad thai, since I got such a screaming killer deal on Smucker's peanut butter with no oil and just a little salt and peanuts at Safeway the other day. I bought 10 bottles. I got so excited, and I thought I better take a couple back because I still need to make it the rest of my month with my food. So I think I have 6 bottles still, and that's like 20 batches of my pad thai. And people will have to win by being judged from taste and nutrition. They have to beat my nutrition too. So that'll be fun. And then after we have our dinner, or I have a baking cook-off planned, and all kinds of different jackfruit tacos, so taco cook-off, chili cook-off, taco salad cook-off. I have all kinds of different cook-offs planned, and I've got a lot of the food for it already, thanks to being able to buy bulk at Winco and PCC and Snow Isle Co-op. So that would happen so that they would pay at the door and then be able to get judged by nutrition and taste. And then the winner gets to donate to their favorite charity. My first one is my housing program is in jeopardy of losing itself because they're in debt for a special assessment. They owe 30 grand. So that's my first fundraising benefit that I'd like to focus on. So I need a venue for that, and I would love media coverage for it. And after the cook-off judges make their decision, we would watch How Not to Die or How Not to Diet by Dr. Michael Greger, best-selling author, amazing doctor, does everything he does for no profit. He turns it all into charity. And then after that, we're going to do a kids meditation with Dr. Joe's where thoughts become things. And I haven't listened to it yet because I've been waiting for a special moment, but I think today is that special moment. And I'm really looking forward to that. And I have a whole pancake cook-off, rainbow-friendly family cook-off dance with the walking meditation planned with Dr. Joe's work, and plant strongs, ancient grain, and sweet potato pancake mix. And I'm making a pizza right now. It's called Cosmic Collision, and it's with plant strong, plant-based, no oil pizza crust, and I've got all plants on there. There's probably about 10 or 12 plants on there. And I made my really awesome cashew mozzarella cheese, and I've got jackfruit simmering on the stove to put on top for the protein source. And it's called Cosmic Collision because I've learned how to go up into the collective consciousness and become nobody, nowhere, no time, no thing, no one. And then I become everything, everybody, every time, everywhere, everyone. And I connect with my son and all of my other loved ones energetically, and we cosmically collide. And so this pizza is dedicated to my son and all those other energies that I love so much. And I am sending this off to the media. Not sure who yet, but it's almost a half an hour long. And if you would like to get a hold of me, please do. You can find me on Facebook. I'm in the process of building a network, like I said, a social media network for holistic health people. And I've already bought the domain with my measly $1,101 a month of income and $80 in food assistance. You know, abundance isn't about the money. It's not. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you all of the abundance I've had in my life that never put a dollar in my pocket. You know, I'm probably looking at 21 grand this month of asset that is not money. I had to put 15 or so on hold because I've got so much other stuff going on, but it's on hold. It's still mine. So I guess what I'm trying to say is love and compassion and generosity and joyfully giving service, joyfully giving time, talent, and treasure, and believing in people no matter what their appearance is, showing people that they're equal no matter how they look or where they've come from. Those are all such amazing qualities that I've been given throughout my life, and I tend to keep giving them back. Because anyone that knows me knows I give freely of myself, to the point to where people often tell me I need to take better care of myself and put myself first. So I don't do things for free anymore. I do things, if people want my services to help make a mind movie that Dr. Joe talks about in Becoming Supernatural, that now I know the secret of super incantations, thanks to Belinda Bloom. And we're going to be doing our first workshop, third workshop, doing that tomorrow morning from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific, and it's on my my Facebook. So my Facebook references, if you'd like to see, is facebook.com/holistic radiance health network. That's my personal profile. And then facebook.com/groups/holistic radiance health network. My pod that I lead globally is based off Facebook for now. I just closed my meetup groups because they were just too much expense for me right now. So that on Facebook is facebook.com/groups/whole food, plant-based, no oil, education support, plant pure pod is the name of the address. And if you look it up by search, it's education and support plant pure pod. If you're trying to figure out what the heck a plant pure pod is, it's based off of the movie Plant Pure Nation by T. Colin Campbell and team. And there was such an outcry for help after that movie, during the movie, that they decided to do plantpurecommunities.org. And through that, I am a contracted Plant Pure Pod leader. Mine in particular is about education and support. And now these fundraisers that I'm planning, if they are not supported through the Plant Pure Pod, I will turn them into my Holistic Radiance Health Network projects, which I may do anyway and just use the education and support through the Plant Pure Pod, because I'm not allowed to raise money for other outside entities as the contracted pod leader through the pod. So that's probably what's going to happen. YouTube.com/@ Holistic Radiance Health Network 1, just the number 1. And on there, you can see all kinds of videos about me and my homelessness updates 6 months ago, and how amazing it was up to then, and now it's like eons better. Yeah, I have my certificate from the state. Like I said, I'm a Washington State certified peer support specialist. I am a certified herbal information specialist through American Botanical Council. I have been studying herbs since I was 19, and that was 39 years ago. I call myself the gut bug whisperer because I specialize in fermented foods. I make my own recipes, and I sprout and make microgreens and sprout lentils in the dark to increase their DAO for anti-inflammatory properties. And I teach classes about that. And I teach classes about batch cooking for like 6 hours in a day and soaking things the night before in order to make a whole week's worth of food that's totally optimally nutritious, with like a 5 to 10 minute investment every day besides eating time. And so that's me. And, I was told that I would need medication all my life. My doctor, psychiatrist twice now, has told me, no, you don't need anything. Just keep doing what you're doing. I forget the word he says in the records, but I have them. And the word literally means showing no signs of mental illness. And I am being seen by my naturopath and the students on the end of July sometime. And I'm bringing my psychiatric records and my acupuncturist records. And Dr. Han remembers asking me one time, I came in and he always asks me what my condition is, what my condition's been, what's your condition? And I said, Dr. Han, I need help with calming my emotions because I'm so excited and I'm feeling so much bliss and ecstasy and joy. I'm not used to it and I can't sleep and I can't eat and I'm so excited, but I know I need to take care of my body. And he got real quiet and he said, okay, we'll lay up here. And I proceeded to tell him that I had been doing a lot of Dr. Joe work and I had mentioned it before to him. But at that point, I was up to 2.5 hours a day and I had started out only being able to focus about 5 minutes at a time and in severe pain. And I couldn't sit up for more than 5 minutes. And boy, that's changed. 2 hours and 40 minutes of meditation feel like 10 minutes to me now. I'm just like a master at it compared to then. And that's just 6 months ago. So at the end of that visit, I was putting my shoes on and Dr. Hunt said, I remember I used to treat you for disease and pain. And now you come in and want me to calm emotion. Who are you studying again? So I'm taking those records to my naturopath too. And my PCP is like totally not understanding any of this. She thinks it's amazing, but she has no feedback except to keep giving me blood tests. And I am still on 50 milligrams of losartan when I remember to take it, but when I don't remember to take it, I'm still doing great with just grapeseed extract and flaxseed meal. So yeah, that's me. And much love and an abundance of blessings to you and all your loved ones and to the universe. And again, this is Rev Brenda R Meritt-Motta, and I am a licensed minister with the Universal Life Church, and I believe in one love, one heart. Bye.